Not all battles are fought with swords. Some are fought with words, with charm, with promises that sound too good to question. In the quiet, breathing heart of Sigrid, King Dalat had already made his decision. War in its simplest form was crude, predictable, costly, but control could be achieved in other ways, ways far more subtle and far more dangerous. And so, instead of marching an army toward the Salt Isle, he chose a different path. He went himself. The journey to the Salt Isle was calm, almost deceiving in its stillness. The waters moved gently, the winds carried no warning, and the island stood as it always had, peaceful, distant, untouched. But Dalat did not come for peace. He came with intention. By day, his arrival was respectful, even honorable, a king visiting another ruler under the banner of diplomacy. Words were exchanged, formalities observed, nothing unusual, nothing alarming. But it was not during the day that his true purpose revealed itself. It was at night, when the island grew quiet and the sound of the waves softened into whispers. Dalat made his move. He requested a private audience with Queen Senil, away from the court, away from watchful eyes, away from the world that expected her to remain exactly as she had always been. And she agreed. What began as conversation slowly became something else. Dalat did not speak like a king seeking alliance. He spoke like a man who understood longing. He praised her not just as a ruler, but as a woman. He spoke of her beauty, not in shallow admiration, but in a way that made it sound rare, unmatched, almost wasted on a life bound by caution and restraint.
He told her she was more than what she had allowed herself to be, more than peace, more than quiet rule, more than an island. His words were careful, measured, but powerful. He painted a vision before her, one where she was not simply the queen of the Salt Isle, but something greater, a queen whose influence stretched beyond the sea, beyond trade, beyond isolation, a queen whose name would not just be respected, but remembered. And then he offered it to her, not through war, but through union. "If you stand with me," he told her softly, "not as an ally, but as my equal, then everything you are becomes everything you deserve to be." He spoke of marriage, of unity, not through conquest, but through bond, of a future where Sigrid and the Salt Isle would become one, not divided by land or water, but joined by crown and blood. A future where their son, would inherit both thrones, ruling not just a kingdom, but a legacy. To a ruler who had always chosen peace, it did not sound like power. It sounded like purpose. And for a moment, just a moment, his words reached her. They were warm, convincing, almost dangerous in how easily they made sense. Even his boldest claim carried a strange certainty that his current queen, Amanda, would not stand in the way, that this path, though complicated, was already within his control. It was a promise wrapped in confidence, and that made it even harder to ignore. But Dalat was not a man who relied on one path alone. Even as he spoke beneath the quiet night of the Salt Isle, another plan was already unfolding far from the sea. In Tyre. Dalat understood the balance of power in the Eastland, and he knew that alliances could shape outcomes long before any armies ever moved. And so he extended his reach toward King Aaron, not with threats, not with demands, but with opportunity. He offered his daughter, a royal union between Sigrid and Tyre, his only daughter to Prince Rondel, a bond that would tie their kingdoms together in blood and loyalty. And to ensure the offer was not refused, he sweetened it further. Trade. Tariffs on Tyre were to be reduced significantly. Resources would flow more freely, wealth would grow. Tyre, once constrained by its size, would find new strength through Sigrid's generosity. To any ruler, it was more than an offer. It was advantage. But Dalat did not act blindly. He knew Aaron was ambitious. He knew Tyre was watching Mandav. And he knew that in a world moving toward conflict, the right alliance could decide everything before the first sword was even drawn. So while the Eastland still appeared quiet, while kings still sat on their thrones, while no war had yet begun, Dalat was already moving pieces others had not even noticed. A queen, tempted by a future she had never imagined. A prince, unknowingly becoming part of a larger design. A king about to receive an offer too valuable to ignore. And beneath it all, a single truth remained hidden in plain sight. This was not diplomacy. This was positioning. And by the time the others realized it, the game would already be in motion.